Hello from this beautiful location. I wanted to come here because over the past few days and seriously over the past few years, especially here, what feels like compacted in the past like few days and weeks, months, I have been shedding so many things that have been holding me back. I've been shedding so many beliefs that have been holding me back. I've been shedding so many things energetically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Like there are so many things that I've been shedding and releasing as I feel more into who I am and who my authentic self is. And I'm so excited, by the way. I'm super excited about this. But what I would realize when I was walking over here is how vibrant the colors outside looked to me and how vibrant the sky looked and just how colorful things were. And I remember one other point in my life, especially when I kind of was going through a little bit of like a low period. I wasn't clinically depressed, but I definitely was leaning more towards that as I was isolating myself because I was building a business and I'd given up my sports, I'd given up my activity, I'd stopped hanging out with friends, and I told him, I'm building a business, I can't hang out, I gotta put my business first. I'm trying to, make this work. So I shed a lot of the things that really lit me up because I felt like I was making the right decision for me. And this was the last time I was living in Tampa before I moved to Houston. And at that time, I was definitely eating a box of Nutty Bars at the time, or I would go up to McDonald's or something and buy a McFlurry, but I felt like I went there so often, or I went to the grocery store and bought ice cream so often that I would then drive to a different location so that they didn't recognize me. And when I moved to Texas, I think I still brought some of that, that energy with me. And I remember as I was working through things then, and I had started to shed some of those layers and really just tap back more into me, I remember Jay and I were walking around the neighborhood in Texas where we were living in Houston, and like everything looked so vibrant. The colors were so vibrant. Everything was so beautiful. It wasn't like dull and muted anymore. And I really remember this point because I was like, whoa, I didn't know that the trees were that green and the sky was that blue. Like I have not seen that in so long. And while my past few years I've been seeing a lot of color and I've been having this vibrancy, I feel like a whole nother level of vibrancy and colors and awareness really unlocked when I walked today to this location where I was like, oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous out here. And this has kind of been happening over the past few weeks. And I share this because this actually reminded me of optimism. And I have generally been really optimistic my whole life, except for these past few years. I've had a more negative loop spiral, especially if you've been watching this inspirational series, like all the videos, you've heard different points as I've shared and brought you along this journey with me. And I feel like I wanted to bring up optimism today because optimism, I don't know, for me, choosing to be optimistic, choosing to see things from a more positive light is really important for me. It's really important for me because I just feel like I'm just bounding with energy every day and I'm excited, I'm happy, I'm looking forward to the next thing, and also being able to see the silver lining in things. And I know I don't really want to go super into this because I don't fully know all the answers, nor do I feel like a lot of people do, but this whole talk right now that's going on about toxic positivity, and I feel like sometimes that can be being optimistic and being positive and choosing to see things from that light can be seen and misinterpreted as toxic positivity. And I get it because really it's about validating others' feelings, and that's important, and making sure that it's not like dismissing their feelings. That's really important. But let's put that aside because that's not what this is about. This is about how can you tap into that optimism? How can you tap into seeing and noticing the vibrant colors that are out in nature around you? How can you notice how blue the sky is, the contrast of the clouds on the sky like you see right here, the reflections on the water, the green trees, the vibrancy? Like how can you recognize that and start to notice that in your life and really be looking for those types of things? How can you look for the most beautiful things in your environment? How can you look and notice the things that exist right around you that you can be grateful for and pay appreciation to, and spend some time in that appreciation and that love and that optimism? How can you bring more of that into your life? In a previous video, I talked about enthusiasm and remembering to infuse enthusiasm into your life and how important that is, and sometimes we can forget, and you can go back and watch that one. And this is another example. Optimism is something that when people ask me, you know, how do you stay so positive in a negative world? Or they ask me, you know, like, oh, you're so lucky. I mean, it's the lens that I view my life through. I feel like this plays a huge role in how opportunities present themselves, how open I am to different things. I feel like a lot of that plays into it. And especially coming off the way that I was trapping myself in the past few years in my head, it feels so good to feel free again mentally. And I've talked about this in a previous one. It feels so good to really feel more like me and to own what it is that is me. But I'm telling you that a big part of that is noticing and showing appreciation for all that's around you and really being optimistic about what's possible. So I mean, this is gorgeous. I will move more out of the way. This is gorgeous. And this is just like a basic neighborhood lake, okay? That could just be overlooked. Like, oh yeah, I got a lake in my neighborhood. Whatever. But these little things really make a difference. I am looking forward to hearing about how you are going to choose to infuse, or how you currently infuse, more optimism into your life. I'd say on the comments today, I would love to see how does optimism show up for you? And how do you infuse that into your life? Because hey, there's probably a million ways to do it. And I just gave you 1 or 2 examples today. All right, I will see you on the next video.